Namaskaram to all of you. Welcome back. We are continuing our journey through Valmiki Ramayana. Today we are going to cover the third topic. In the first topic, we have seen an introduction of the Ramayana, the connection between Vedas and Ramayana. Who is Rama and who is Maharshi Valmiki? And in the last session, we started the Bala Kanda. We reviewed a high level structure of the Bala Kanda, 76 sargas, and we covered what are all the major topics covered in the Bala Kanda. And then we started deep diving into the first sarga of the Valmiki Ramayana. The first sarga of the Valmiki Ramayana starts with Maharshi Valmiki approaching Maharshi Narada with a question. We tried to see who is the seeker, who is the teacher, and how the seeker approached the teacher. So the teacher is described as Maharshi Narada. Narada was addressed by different Visheshanas. The first one is he is the one who is refined and matured and qualified through tapas and swadhyaya. He's always established in tapas and swadhyaya, and he is vagvidamvaram. Like he is the master of communication. I mean, he's a like art of communication. He has mastered. He's a great communicator. He can settle complex concepts in a very simple and nice manner. That is the second point. And Muni Pungavam, he is qualified as one of the most qualified sages among the sages. And Devarshi Narada, Bhagavad Gita Krishna tells. So that shows the glory of Narada. And we have also paused and tried to understand the glory of Narada. If one sage is respected in all the traditions across Sanatana Dharma, that is Narada. And Valmiki, how did he identify himself? A tapasvi, that's all. He's a seeker, whereas Narada is a master. And how did he approach? Pariprapracha, with respect, just with a motive of knowing, he approached Narada. This is what we saw. So now we are going into the next topic. I have given the detailed. We may take one or two sessions to cover the third topic, but that's such an important topic of the Valmiki Ramayana. Here, what we are going to see is Valmiki's actual question to Narada. Does there exist an ideal human being? A human being with all the noble qualities of Dharma and human excellence together. He is committed to Dharma and he has all these excellence, all these values. So this topic is such an important topic which we need to study in detail. So we are going to see the questions and then we are going to cover Shloka 2 to 5. We are going to cover the Sanskrit text, the meaning, everything of Valmiki's question to Narada. And then we are going to deep dive into the 16 qualities highlighted by Maharshi Valmiki. This can be seen as a complete framework for moral, inner, relational, intellectual, and spiritual excellence. We wanted to understand the relevance of that values in the modern world. This is such an important study, which is covered by Shloka 2 to 5. Before we jump in, the central idea of this first sarga of Bala Kanda is Valmiki is not beginning asking Narada about a powerful king. Of course, Rama was a powerful king, or a famous hero, or a miraculous being. All these qualities fits well with Rama, but he's not asking that. But he's asking whether there is a person in whom you can see all these highest possible values of a human being. That is what the question is. And Narada's answer is Rama. And then you can see the entire Ramayana is an elaboration of the history of the Rama. So the entire Ramayana is going to talk about these qualities. When you study Ramayana, this is what you need to keep in mind. This is the introduction. The first shloka, Valmiki started an inquiry, and that turned into a set of questions right now. So shloka 1 teaches us how to ask, to whom to ask, what should be our approach. And shloka 2 to 5 teaches us what is worth asking. What is the highest form of human excellence or The simple question is, what is that highest form of human excellence look like? This is the question. So with that, let's try to listen to the shlokas. Shloka 2 to 5. But before that, we will even listen the shloka. First shloka we covered. Let me share and let me play. So if you take
Pasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidam varam Naradam paripapracha Valmikir Punggavam Konvasmin Sampratam Loke Gunavan Tascha Viryavan Dharmajñascha Kritanyascha Satyavakyo Dridhavrataha Charitreణ च को युक्तः सर्वभूतेषु को हितः विद्वान् कः कः समर्थश्च कश्चैकप्रियदर्शनः आत्मवान् को जितक्रोधो द्युतिमान् को न सूयकः कस्य बिभ्यति देवाश्च जातरोषस्य संयुगे एतदिच्छाम्यहं श्रोतुम् परं कौतूहलं हि मे महर्षे त्वं समर्थोऽसि ज्ञातुमेवं विधं नरम्.
So this is the chanting. I'll share the chanting also so that you can listen to that. But let's quickly see the meaning. In Shloka 2, Maharshi Valmiki asks the first 6 qualities. He asks, who in this world today is virtuous, who has all the virtues, courageous, knowledgeable in Dharma, grateful, truthful in speech, and firm in his commitment? Look at the qualities. So, Gunavan, Viryavan, Dharmascha, Kritascha, Satyavakyaha, Dridhavrataha. These are the 6 qualities asked in the second shloka. Then he is asking about the character, compassion, wisdom, capability, and pleasant presence. So he tells who is endowed with the noble conduct, who is the well-wisher of all being, not just the human being, all the being, who is wise, who is capable, and who is pleasing in his presence. So this is the third shloka. We are going to deep dive into this. So this is just a literal meaning. And then shloka 4 is mainly talking about the self-mastery, radiance, meaning tejas, that's what we call, freedom from envy, anasuya, and the power with endowed with dharma. So who is self-controlled, self-mastered, who has conquered the anger or the emotions to a larger extent, who is radiant, who shines, whose presence makes everybody feel happy, free from asuya, envy, and whose righteous anger in battle, when he fights for something, even devas are afraid of it. Who is that person who can fight with anyone when the cause is right? That is the next one. And finally, what makes his humility? He said, I deeply wishes to hear this from you, and you can tell this to me, Maharshi. You are capable of knowing this truth. This is the shloka. I'll publish the recording also. Just it's such a nice thing to remember and such a beautiful set of shloka. Go deep dive into each of these qualities. Essence of Valmiki's question is he wanted to understand, get a blueprint of the human excellence. He is drawing a blueprint of the human excellence, and he is asking not for an abstract ideal, exist only in the heavens or exist only in the imagination. He asks whether such a person exists in this world. So he said, Asmin Loki. That is the word he used. Asmin Loke means it is not in Swargaloka, not in Patala, it is here. asmin loke. Sampradam. Sampradam means I can say that, okay, in once upon a time there was a person who lived, he had all these qualities. No, I wanted to know a person who lives that value now. That is Sampradam. So asmin loke means in this world, not in heavens, not in dreams, not in imaginations. Sampradam. Now, then, such a human being, like then he tells, I am param kautuhala. He says, I am very curious to know if such a human being exists. And then he tells, Maharshe tum samartosi. You are capable of knowing such a person and you are capable of discussing that person. Again, last week we touched on this topic. Why did Valmiki ask this question to Narada? Is it not Valmiki don't know the glory of Rama? After all, he was transformed from Ratnakara to Valmiki because of the name of the Rama. He was chanting Mara Mara, that Mara Mara turns into Rama Rama. We covered all that topic. And then during the Vanavasa of Rama, Valmiki had a chance to meet with Rama and interact with him directly. And he is living in a kingdom of Ramarajya. So why did he ask this question? We talked about this the other day. Valmiki is not clearly giving any answer, but some of the traditional commentators are making some guesses, which is very interesting. Perhaps a few actions of Rama could generate some doubt for people. And you know that nowadays people criticize Rama. Rama might have done 101 good things, and people may pick up one or two and started dicing and slicing Rama. Of course, you have the right to criticize anyone. That is the glory of Sanatana Dharma. That is fine, but you need to understand that larger picture. So, Valmiki would have anticipated this doubt will come later, especially with Sita Parityaga. By the time when Valmiki was asking this question to Narada, Sita Devi was living in his ashrama. Lava Kusha was there. So just understand, this is a flashback. It is all the Ramayana happened. Sita Devi was in Valmiki's ashrama. So maybe after seeing Sita Devi, Valmiki would have thought, okay, this doubt would that could be one reason he asked this question. That's another point just wanted to highlight. And now let's get into the actually why that question matters today. So typically in modern world, people ask, who is successful? Who is powerful? Who is influential? Who is talented? Who is admired? Who can win? These are the typical definition of success in the modern time. But Valmiki had a very different spin. He asked, who has all the virtues? Who has courage guided by Dharma? Who has the strength guided by Dharma? Who speaks truth? Who is disciplined and committed, not like who is successful. So his definition of a success is very interesting. Who is disciplined and committed? Who is truly worth of admiration, not because of the wealth or anything like that, but because who he is and who can uphold Dharma. This is what Valmiki's ask, whereas in the modern world it is very different. But the thing is that even that Valmiki's question is not outdated. It speaks directly to the modern crisis of character. And nowadays you talk about the ethical leadership, ethical framework, all that thing we hear. Now, if you apply these virtues into the ethical leadership framework, it perfectly fits. So, can intelligence, power, and success be guarded by Dharma? Can this be guarded by the attitude of gratitude? Can this be accomplished through self mastery and compassion? Is that what the leadership we are looking for? And that is the relevance of these questions. This is another point. And then in his questions from Shloka 2 to 5, Valmiki highlighted 16 qualities as a complete human excellence framework, the blueprint of the human excellence. These shlokas are not random. Together, they form the complete framework of human excellence. The beauty of these 16 qualities is that they integrate morality, wisdom, relationship, emotional intelligence, capability, and spiritual radiance. This is that person, the peak of the human excellence. Let's quickly talk about the different dimensions highlighted by Maharshi Valmiki. These 16 qualities can be put into 5 different dimensions of human excellence. Let's talk about the first one, which is the moral foundation. The moral foundation of a human being is highlighted by the qualities ethics, values, integrity, Integrity means you do, meaning you will do the right thing. Whether somebody is looking over your shoulders or not, you will do the right thing. Trustworthy conduct, value-based decisions, not random decisions. This is the first dimensions of the questionnaire. Moral foundation. The second one is the inner strength. It is highlighted by the word Viryavan, then Atmavan, Jitakrodha. These are the word used to indicate the inner strength. Courageous, disciplined, emotionally intelligent. This is the inner strength. So, moral foundation, inner strength, then relational excellence. Kritanyascha. Kritanyascha means the one who has gratitude. Then Sarva Bhuteshu Hitaha, the one who is genuinely interested in the well-being of all the being, not just the human being, all the being. Sarva Bhuteshu Hitaha. And he will be empathetic to all the human being. Then Priyadarshanaha. Priyadarshanaha means he seeks good in every being. And he is completely inclusive. One quality of Rama, it is said that, you will see that in the later Valmiki Ramayana. Nobody feel alienated in the presence of Rama. It could be a squirrel. It could be a tribal lady like Shabari. It could be a tribal person like Guha, or it could be the emperor of the emperor like Indra, or it could be a sage. Everybody feels that Rama is my person. That is another relational excellence. That is what another dimension of Valmiki's question. And then the fourth dimension is wisdom and capability. Vidwan, samartha, knowledge, competent, proper judgment, and execution ability. Sometimes what happens? You plan everything, but you cannot execute. Rama's glory in Ramayana, you see, he plan out the work and the work out the plan. That is the beauty. And his ability to execute, his ability to plan, his ability to monitor and control, and his ability to adapt according to the situations. That is what is wisdom and capacity. In Bhagavad Gita, it is called as yogaha karma sukhaushalam, the dexterity in action. And that comes through wisdom and capability. Those two are like the next dimension. And then radiant power, Dyutiman. Usually it is used to refer Deva. But here, Dyutiman means moral authority. And he uses the strength only for Dharma. Bhagavad Gita tells, Balam Balavatam like the strength of the strong. And Krishna tells, like controlled by Dharma. Because not all power is the divine power. The power of Hitler, the power of Mao Zedong, those things are not the real power. But when the power is controlled or governed by Dharma, it is going to be different. This is the 5 dimensions of human excellence in Valmiki's question. There is its moral foundation is there, inner strength is there, relational excellence is there, wisdom and capability is there, and finally, radiant power is there. This is the 16 qualities. How to understand these 16 qualities? Valmiki is not describing like a one-dimensional hero. He is extremely powerful. Not like that. He is describing a whole person. Ethical, courageous, grateful, truthful, all these things. And it is giving us an ideal model. See, nowadays, giving such a model could be dangerous also. I may just give it up. Oh, it's impossible for me. But it's a goal rather than like a defining as a stationary point or something I need to become. I can work towards that goal. And the entire Ramayana needs to be interpreted through this lens. And that's what we are going to. Now, let's deep dive into each of these shlokas. Let's start with the first 6 qualities. The first 6 qualities are covered in shloka 2. So let's talk about each one of them. Gunavan. Gunavan means the one with virtues or virtuous one. So Gunavan means a person possesses noble values and live by them. It's easy to talk about value. Living that value is very important. So a person who understands the value of the value and abide by that value, that is Rama. And that is Gunavan. That is the word. Virtue is not a public image. It is that natural fragrance in somebody's character. Traditional commentators of Ramayana, highlight that such a person moves harmoniously with the entire humanity, not even humanity, with the entire beings, and nobody feels separated from him without discrimination. He will not have any discrimination based on financial status, based upon position, based upon power, based upon the gender, based upon the caste. That is what is Gunavan. So, integrity, empathy, ethical character, inclusiveness, all that is trademark of this Gunavan. That is very much relevant in the modern world. One thing that commentators talks again and again here is value of Rama or value in the Ramayana is not what we display in public. It is the fragrance of how we live with others. That is value. It is not what we display. It is that how values with which we live with others. That is Gunavan. Viryavan, that is the next term used. Viryavan means typical translation is one with strength. It doesn't mean that one with physical strength. Yes, the strength is there, but it includes the moral courage, strength to see what must be done and actually do it. That's what it is. Even though it is very painful, even though it is very difficult, the person who has the strength to see what is to be done and actually do it, he or she is the person known as Viryavan. So courage gives virtue the power to act. See, courage is going, all the virtues are there, but the courage is that power by which you can act or you can implement your virtues. So taking responsibility, facing difficult conversations, standing for justice, and acting with conviction under pressure. This is the trademark of such people. Once again, I'm just repeating it. You may see this in the modern management and leadership lessons. Taking responsibility, facing difficult conversations, standing for justice, and acting with conviction under pressure. So, see, if somebody has virtue but without courage, it remains passive. So, that as I said, the courage gives virtue the strength to act. Once again, this is the quote. Courage gives virtue the strength to act. So, you can see how these two are interconnected. Let's go to the third quality. Dharmanya. Dharmanya means the one who knows dharma. I don't have to explain what is dharma. Dharma means it is not a set of do's and don'ts. Dharma doesn't mean that it is a religion. Dharma doesn't mean that just giving charity. These are all limited meanings of dharma. The real meaning of the dharma is that laws, natural laws of the universe. When you follow something, if that keeps the system in equilibrium, we always take the example of the traffic. If you follow these traffic laws, there is a harmony in the traffic system. If you violate that, what is going to happen? There is a disharmony, there is accidents. That is what is dharma of the traffic. So, by following that, you create the harmony. So every dimension there is dharma. There is a physical dharma. The body has a physical dharma. If you eat healthy, if you live a healthy lifestyle, what is going to happen? You are keeping the harmony of the body. You are keeping the mind harmony. Like that, there is a psychological harmony. There is a social harmony. There is dharma everywhere. In technology, there is dharma. I request you to listen to the podcast we published. Again, very contextual. Swami Chidananda Puri is explaining this concept, the behavior of dharma. He says that, okay, that dharma has to be applied in every dimension of the life. If the dharma is not there, the religion becomes fanatic or the religions become superstition. If dharma is not there, the technology can be destructive. If dharma is not there, traffic can collapse. If dharma is not there, the governance can fail. If dharma is not there, the relationship can create problem. So dharma is a must have to keep the order of the universe. And here dharmanya means the one who knows dharma. Dharma is not mechanical rule. It requires context. It requires discrimination. Discrimination means discernment to pick what is right and what is wrong, and maturity. So the person who knows dharma, that is what is. So ethical judgment, contextual decision making, balancing the duties, and aligning the action with the larger good. This is the characteristics of this value in the modern world. So, dharma essentially is the intelligent alignment with the order that sustains harmony. Once again, dharma is the intelligent alignment with the order that sustains the harmony. The fourth value is known as kritanya. Kritanya means grateful, gratitude. This is such a noble value. Kritanya means one who knows what has been done, the one who knows that one cannot live isolated in this universe, the one who knows whatever support he or she is receiving. You see the sunlight, the whole universe, the farmers who work hard, because you say that, okay, I go to Costco and buy it, but somebody has to produce it. Somebody has to take it. So without us knowing, we are being supported by the entire humanity. Forget about the humanity, entire universe. A person who recognizes that is the real thanksgiving. The person who recognizes that I am one piece of that entire ecosystem, and I have, meaning as much as I consume, I have a responsibility to contribute. I have a responsibility to contribute to the family, welfare of the family. I have a responsibility to contribute to the welfare of the society. I have a responsibility to contribute to the welfare of the entire universe. This is the attitude of gratitude. So this gratitude protects the mind from entitlement and arrogance. So in the modern life, humanity, appreciation, emotional maturity, all these will come under this term kritanya. So gratitude protects success from becoming arrogance. That's a tagline here. Gratitude protects success from becoming arrogance. Then Satyavakya. Satyavakya means the one whose words are truthful and trustworthy. Like he speak truth, priyam and hitam. That's it. Truthful speech. It's not the harsh speech. In dharmic life, truth must be spoken with respectfully, with compassion for the benefit of the other person. And also you need to understand the timing. So transparent communication, trust building, credibility, the words that clarify rather than wound. That is very important. The words that clarify rather than wound. This is very important. That is the trademark of Satyavrata. So the whole idea here is that the commentator tells truth is not a factual statement. It is speech aligned with the dharma. And finally, Drithavrataha. Drithavrataha means firm in commitment. Drithavrata means the one who is firm in his commitment. Vrata means it's a chosen commitment. We do vrata, right? Satyanarayana vrata, Ekadashi vrata. So it's a chosen commitment, a disciplined practice. Drithavrataha means the one who keeps his promises, the one who follows dharma. That is Drithavrata. So reliability, discipline, focus, resilience, all that comes through. A noble life is not built by inspiration alone. It is built by firm commitment. So we covered the first 6 qualities as a leadership foundation. So we said that Gunavan means value-based character. Without the Gunavan, what is going to happen? Power becomes dangerous. Viryavan, courage to act. Without this quality, what is going to happen? Goodness remains passive. Dharmanya. Dharmanya means ethical and contextual judgment. Action becomes confused without it. Then Kritanya. Kritanya means gratitude and humility. Success becomes arrogant. Then Satyavakya, trustworthy communication. Relationship lose trust. Drithavrataha, commitment and follow through. Life loses the direction without this. Those are the first 6 qualities, and we will deep dive into the next 10 qualities next week and go to the little bit of analysis on some of the modern leadership framework, and after that we will go to Narada's answer. So Valmiki asked 16 qualities and Narada responds with 32 qualities and tells Rama possesses it. Okay, let me pause here.